It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Amanda and I are so excited to be here with you for Faithful Biz. And this is Jesus versus Hurry and Worry. And for those who haven't seen the other ones, make sure you go back and catch them because we're going through 8 different ways that Jesus was calm and not stressed out, and it's opposite of the way I've run my life. And we're going in and just talking about how that is. So I'm excited to share this 5th one, which is Jesus didn't mind detours. Like I always think about the woman in the well and how Jesus drug the disciples all the way up to Samaria and then up to Syria. He didn't go in a straight line. He was always wandering around, going where the Father sent him. He didn't get upset about distractions and detours. And I tend to get very upset about distractions and detours. And so it's been very convicting to me. But I always love chatting with you, Amanda, and hearing what verses the Lord has brought you on this topic. So welcome. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a great holiday. And Kat, I love this series. And I love that God inspired you to create this this pattern to look for in the scripture. I think each of these topics that you've chosen has been so helpful and so insightful. So you talked about the woman of the well, and I was also kind of on the same track as you. I was thinking about how the disciples had no idea, right? Like they were like, well, what? Like most of the time when we read about disciples, they're always kind of like, but like they just aren't keeping up with what, and Jesus is always like, it's okay, guys. Like it's gonna be all right. It's okay, guys. So the passage that I thought of is also in John. The woman of the well is in John, I think 4, and so that's a really good one to go read. His conversation with the Samaritan woman. The passage I thought about was in John 11, where it talks about the death of Lazarus, because I mean, it's like the disciples the whole time are like, are we gonna go? And Jesus is like, nope, we're gonna wait. And they're like, okay. And then he's like, okay, we're gonna go. And they're like, we're gonna go die also. Okay. They're so confused. And Jesus is like, you can see him like not doing the thing that they expected him to do because they've seen him heal people. And they're like, he could easily go heal Lazarus. And even when he shows up, Mary and Martha are like, if you had been here, my brother would not have died, because they know he can heal people. But he took his time. And it didn't make sense to the disciples. It didn't make sense to Mary and Martha. Why is he taking so long? Why is he dragging his feet? The thing is, he actually told them. He told them very plainly. He said, it is for your sake. I was not there so that you may believe. So he like literally said, this is why we're not there. This is why we aren't there. And so he told them, but they still don't get it. They even show up there and they're like, even Mary's like, I know he's going to rise again on the last day. And Jesus is like, you're so close. You're so close. And then she says, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God. And he goes and he sees everybody mourning. Jesus weeps. He's moved with emotion. And then he does call Lazarus forth. And Lazarus rises from the dead and comes out. And, we don't know what happens after that. The story kind of ends. But he says, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this on account of the people standing around so that they may believe that you sent me. So again, yes. No. Again, it is Jesus in his perfect timing listening to the Father. He knows that the Father hears him. He knows that God is listening and guiding him. And he's not being rushed by the disciples. He's not being pushed along. He's not doing things on their timeline. He is sticking to the plan that God has communicated to him. And I think, yes, baby. Okay, wait till your clock is yellow. Okay. And I think sometimes we have a timeline in our mind for how things are supposed to go. And I've said this to some of my friends before. I've said, in my mind, I have it like you go from point A to point B to point C, like you're playing connect the dots, right? Like this is the plan. And God is like, we're not playing connect the dots here. This is not how I operate. Like, what are you doing with those dots and those lines? Like, I can take you from point A to point Q to point M to like, not even on that plane. Like, we're going to go up in the sky. Like, we're all over the place. To the world, it looks like we might be all over the place, but God's plan is always best. And sometimes we need to go all the way around because God has things he needs to accomplish through us, for us, before we're ready to go to the next step that we think I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for that assignment. I'm ready for this mission. I'm ready to get into ministry. I'm ready for this next step in my business. I'm ready for this next rank or, to create this amazing thing. And God's like, you need some work. Like, I got to work on you a little bit so that you step into that place when it truly is the right time. And it truly is the right time for you. And sometimes people might say, oh, you need to do it this way, or it's not successful. You need to do it just like this. You need to do these, check off these boxes, be at this place at this time, and do all these things so that you can be the kind of person that is successful or is that right leader or is going to do well in their business. And God's like, that's not what I'm telling you to do. And what God tells us to do is the most important thing, because success is doing what God calls us to do, not doing what the world tells us to do. Worldly strategies are going to be so self-focused, self-preserving, and God tells us that his wisdom is what truly brings life and success. And there's this quote that I love that says, only one life will soon be passed. Only what's done for God will last. And so the world might say, you have to do this, you have to be here, you have to do these things. And God says, I have a much different purpose for your life. And what you do for me is what really matters. So I love that just that reflection on how God moved through that or how Jesus moved through that situation, how he listened to his Father, didn't rush, knew that what he was doing didn't have to make sense to these guys that he hangs out with all the time. It can be confusing to them. That's okay. He is not confused. Jesus was not confused. So what do you think about that passage, Kat?
Oh my goodness, I love it. And I had my Bible open as you were reading, and it's like Jesus is saying to them, are there not 12 hours in the day? If anyone walks in the day, he does not stumble because he sees the light. And it really convicted me because when you were talking, what I've tried to do is things the world way. And people will say, you've got to have this done and that done and this done and that done. And your posts have got to be perfect. And you got to be out there every day. And you got to respond to every comment. And you got to send out so many messages. And if you don't, you're a failure. And God's saying, no, that's not what I want you to do today. I want you to do this other thing. And it feels really weird. As a result of this, I actually started this thing where when I get stressed, I go spend 15 minutes with the Father. And instead of getting in that wind up of, I'm not keeping up with everybody else, I feel hurried, worried, stressed, I'm like, okay, what is the one thing he wants me to do right now? And when I do that, I feel at peace. It's when I try to fight it and I'm like, but no, I wanted to finish that thing from yesterday, or so-and-so was going to be like, something's wrong with you if you didn't do what I asked you to do. And he's like, but I asked you to do this. And when I do that, it goes well. And when I do this, it doesn't. And it's hard because it's that ego and pride we fight and want to go on her. I don't, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, I want to do it and I want to feel good about it. But if I go his way, what I'm realizing is that's the only way I know that it was his plan. And then the actual joy and the peace come. And then you give him all the glory because you don't have a choice, because there's no way you would have gone in that order. Like, no way. Right?
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense right now, even to you. You like, Lord, are you sure? This doesn't make any sense to me. And then you do the things and you do the things and you keep just walking in faith and trusting. And then you look back and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Genius. Like, of course that was the best way to go.
Hi. Hello. How are you, Melody? Nice to see you. We're talking about Jesus. Isn't that awesome? But yeah, I felt that so many times where I'm like, there's no way this is going to work. And then it does. And then I'm like, I just have to stop right then and just praise him. Because I'm like, that is so cool. Because I know how my ego and my pride are. And I'm such a list checker that just relying on him.
Yep.
So my advice is, if you're feeling the wind up and you're feeling that hurry worry and you're comparing and you're stressed and you're like focused on that to-do list and you want to do that other thing instead of what Jesus is telling you to do his first. Just try it for one day. And then the next time you have a wind up, step away for 15 minutes. It doesn't take that long, and take that to him and say, God, I'm feeling stressed and worried about these 5 things. What is the one next step you want me to take? Because it says in Proverbs, one of my favorite verses is in Proverbs 16, that he has the plan. Or we want the plan. He has the plan. He's going to give us the steps. Like you were talking about with the connect the dots. He's going to say, I want you to do this step over here to number 1. And we want to go to 2 and 3 and 4. And he's like, no, I want you to go to 10, which is over here, and then 15. And then I'm going to have you come back to 4. And you're like, that makes no sense. We're not going in order. But he's like, I gave you a compass, not a map. Take the one step. And it's the biggest thing I'm noticing is true peace really just going up and up in my life the more I do it. Like the first time you're going to feel really awkward and weird. But if you take it to him and then you do the one thing, you're going to be like, whoa, that really worked. And then do it the next day and just build that consistency of always going back to him, because he'll give you this step if you ask him. Most of the time it's, the little voice wanting to take over in there. Voice drives me crazy.
I'm completely on the same page as you. It's the same. Yeah, I have the same experience. But it's good. I don't want you guys to feel like, oh, if I do it this way, I'm going to just be like fresh. No, there's so much peace.
It is.
So much peace. And you can let go of the stress of having to try to figure it out, because God already he's got it all figured out.
He already does. And it's kind of like back to, we talked about this before during the series. It's 2 oxen yoked up, and he's like the big oxen doing all the hard work, and he's got us a spot right there. And he's like, I just want you to come over here and go in this direction, and I'm going to do all the hard stuff. What he's asking us to do is park our ego and our pride and actually go get in the yoke, and then just watch how easy your life will become. Because I can see him working in my life already just because of this series. I've only been at it for about a month, and if I do it every day consistently, I just feel more and more peace, more and more joy. So I just encourage you guys out there, if you have not read the Bible, or if you don't know the Lord, or maybe you've lost your way and you learned about him as a kid, but you're just like, I just don't have time. Please reach out to Amanda and I. Our heart is just really, really, really to get the word out there and to help you to experience the fruits of the Spirit, which are gifts from God. It's love, joy, and peace. And you can have those things, but they come from time with him. And if you step out of the rat race and spend 15 minutes with him, he'll start to give you that joy and that peace you've been seeking. So that's all I had. I always love being on with you. Thank you. I love your insights. The storyline, I'm always like, where's Amanda going today? I get so excited.
And I learned just as much from you. Like I said, I love this series, and it's really helped me just to see things. Just, every time you read the word, I feel like God brings out different things that he needs to teach you. And depending on what's going on in your life, different lessons will be more clear. So I love it. I love the series. Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope everybody had a beautiful Thanksgiving, and God willing, we'll see you back next week, continuing on. Learn more about Jesus versus hurry and worry. Get out of the worry and the rush. It's not worth it. God has peace. Have a blessed day.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.